Alright, if you haven't seen it yet, I did a podcast with the Comic Movie Marks where we debated which film was better, Man of Steel or BVS. It actually really just turned into us kind of like gushing about both the films. We had a couple problems with each film, but, we kind of came to the conclusion that both these films are like very good masterpieces, you could say. But yeah, I thought I'd put a little clip from that podcast here as like an extended trailer, I guess you could say. And if you want to see the full podcast, I'm going to put the link to the Comic Movie Marks channel. I'm going to put a link to the video in the description. So if you haven't seen it yet, go click it, watch it on the Comic Movie Marks channel, give them some love, and that's it for now. Here's a clip from the Man of Steel and BVS debate. See you in the next one. Bye. Well, the script for BVS was written by Chris Terrio, Oscar-winning writer.
Fuck.
David S. Goyer.
All right, moving on.
I pulled up a few quotes that I really liked from the movie. The one that came at near the beginning of the film: "Men with power obey neither policy nor principle. No one is different. No one is neutral," which kind of tells you the whole plot of the whole movie, because that's what the whole movie's about. That, Lex Luthor's trying to take down Superman because he can't be neutral, right? He can't be this all-powerful being and just stay on the fence. He has to pick a side, right? And Lex Luthor's trying to show that to humanity and stuff like that. Some other quotes I have: Bruce Wayne, where he says we're criminals and stuff like that. And then Alfred says, "Oh, yes, it has, sir. Everything's changed. Men fall from the skies. The gods hurl thunderbolts. Innocents die. That's how it starts. The fear, the rage, the feeling of powerlessness that turns good men cruel." I think that really reflects Batman's entire character for the whole movie, that he feels powerless in the face of Superman's great power that he can't overcome, no matter how hard Batman tries. Even though Batman does win the fight in the end, Batman finds a way because he's Batman. But he's obviously fallen into a hole because he feels powerless, and he's essentially the villain through the whole film, right? So,
yep. I shouldn't agree with you. Shit.
Yeah.
He's like, yep. Good point.
One more quote I got though from the dialogue in this movie, and that's Lex Luthor's line at the end of the rooftop scene, where he sees Superman. He goes, "See, what we call God depends on our tribe, Clark Joe, because God is tribal. God takes sides. No man in the sky intervened when I was a boy to deliver me from daddy's fists and abominations. I figured out way back, if God is all-powerful, he cannot be all good. And if he is all good, he cannot be all-powerful." I think that's an amazing line because, number one, it's actually a direct reference to General Eisenberg's speech when he first walked into the concentration camps in Germany. And that's exactly what General Eisenhower said when he saw the concentration camps. He said, "There's no way God could be all good and all powerful, else this wouldn't happen." That's essentially Lex Luthor's main driving factor in this movie. And I just think the dialogue was beautifully done in this movie. Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder and David Goyer definitely wanted to tell a story that was more complex and stuff, definitely more enriching. Even though I'm not saying Man of Steel isn't enriching, but I'm just saying I think they put a lot of effort into the script, and that was definitely overlooked, a lot of it.
I'll read some of my favorite quotes from Man of Steel. Dick Splash. That was one of my favorite ones. Some of my favorite quotes. Dick Splash. Because they hit the water right afterwards. It's poetic justice. It's poetic justice when he just yells,
"And the defense rests, Your Honor." Next topic.
It's actually kind of a controversial line, but when Jonathan Kent is talking to his teenage version of Clark Kent, which, by the way, is a much better teenage actor than the teenage Aquaman.
Yes, don't even get me started on that.
And when Jonathan Kent's telling him, "Keep this side of yourself a secret," and then he says, "What am I supposed to do? Let them die?" Maybe. I don't understand why people have such a problem with that one. To me, it's the true answer. It's the real answer that you would have towards something like that. Because what the fuck's the answer at this point? What is the answer?
Right. I like the rest of that is when the world finds out what you can do, it's going to change everything. Our beliefs, our notions, what it means to be human, everything. You saw how Pete's mom reacted. She was scared, Clark. Even there's another great quote by Perry White where he's talking about the same thing. Can you believe if they find out that this person exists, it's going to change everything? When Perry's talking to Lois, could you believe, what how the world would react? There's a lot of different quotes in this movie. If someone were to show up and a god were to show up, what would that do? That would change the entire world.
When Clark looks at him and says, "Can't I just pretend to be your son?" And then he grabs him, says, "You are my son," crying like a bitch almost every time.
Yeah, easily.
One of the beginning scenes with Martha Kent, when she has Clark in the closet, and she just says, "Follow my voice," or "Focus on my voice, pretend there's an island." I'm kind of using that rumor that we heard about Justice League, but I just feel that is...
I was just thinking about that. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, if that's fucking true, I swear, I know. If that's what, oh my gosh, if that's what Lois tells Clark to bring him back, fuck you, Joss Whedon. Damn it.
I know, seriously. These parents aren't perfect, Martha and Jonathan Kent, but Jesus, everything they say just seems so important and relevant, and what they're doing is fantastic, and that's kind of more a character thing, so I need to divert back to dialogue.
Yeah, so for me, a lot of the dialogue in Man of Steel that I really enjoyed about it, I knew this one was going to be hard to argue because there's some great dialogue in BVS, but the stuff in Man of Steel is so key to kind of establishing, if you look at just the surface, it establishes kind of this universe that we live in, that it's going to be a real world, what Zod was attempting to do. Zod has some great dialogue. But aside from that,
have no people.
Yeah, that he was bred to basically do one thing. Going back again to that same clip that was released, where he's trying to find Clark or Kal-El. And I also think the dialogue in Man of Steel is so inspiring. It's different, as Matt put it. We're the light side, and BVS is the dark side, and that's what Man of Steel is. It's incredibly inspiring. Some of my favorite quotes, again, goes back to the marketing. Jor-El says, "You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you, they will stumble, they will fall, but in time they will join you in the sun, Cal. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders." And I also think that's another fucking quote that probably was supposed to be brought back in Justice League to show, hey, here's the inspiration that you can be. And where after Clark gets pulled out of the truck by the bully, and and then he has the brief exchange with Jonathan Kent. Jonathan says, "Did they hurt you? No, they can't. That's not what I meant. You just have to decide what kind of man you want to grow up to be, Clark, because whoever that man is, good character or bad, he's going to change the world."
There's a couple lines in Man of Steel that feel a little clunky because I really don't feel like they have a writer like Terrio on that film. Like that one line at the beginning where Jor-El says, "We had a child, Zod, a boy child." Like, why?
Well, they don't know.
Why would he need to say that? Why would he? You know what I'm saying? Why would Zod care if it's a boy or a girl? I feel like there's a couple moments like that.
Well, maybe they're gonna paint the room blue afterwards.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But I agree with most of the
I did when I actually rewatched Man of Steel to get a refresher. And yeah, and when he does say that, a boy child, it's like they don't even know how to say it, like because it's so unnatural.
Yeah,
for them, like I don't know if that was purposeful or maybe it's Russell Crowe's delivery of this line. It's just, yeah, I get what you mean.
I could explain it as they're an alien civilization and that's just how they talk on Krypton. Mm-hmm. I feel like they could have went by on the script at least one more time to fix some of those issues.
Yeah. Speaking of alien civilization, something that BVS did not have was a language that was created and implemented in the film that they had to go through and create a whole Krypton alphabet, and it was all over, whatever that main room is with all the politicians when Zod comes in and starts shooting people up. They had a whole language and everything. It's too bad that wasn't delved into a little bit more, but pretty badass.
The following podcast has been paid for by the Comic Movie Marks.
You just remember what your old past said, or you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got